Well, I'm absolutely delighted to be here in beautiful Bratislava with Mr. Bryan Lacey. Carlos Famola has just demolished Pavel Langer inside 7 seconds. He didn't even need the lines to help him.
It's a record. I think that's the fastest KO. So I think he's got the most title fights, the most main events. You look at his record, the promotions he's fought in, what he's done before. Lots of questions before this one was the big one. What was he done? You look at the Kinsel fight, you look at the performance against Alcina, which wasn't his greatest, and then he does that in 7 seconds. And yeah, I'm still breathless.
The juices are certainly flowing, and everything now, surely all roads lead to that.
Well, that's what he said. He called it out. He said he's made 2 mistakes in his career. One is the Oktagon 15 fight, the loss to Attila Vey, that still sits bitterly with him, the knockout loss. And then, of course, this year he lost to Patrick Kinsel. So both guys are on his radar. Attila Vey came into the cage. Attila said, I don't want you calling out Kinsel. You need to fight me in December. But we'll see how it works. We'll see. I think Famola is somebody who is now in a position once again that he can kind of call his shot. And if that shot is Kinsel, which he bitterly wants, he respects Vey, but he hates Kinsel, so we'll see.
Surely that trilogy, that's one that's got to happen. How does Kinsel feel about that? Obviously, right now, he's got the upper hand in this one.
You know what, it's a strange thing. It's hard to have the upper hand against Carlos Famola because you saw even tonight the reaction he gets. People love him, people hate him. He is the biggest draw in Oktagon, and that's across all the promotions. Even in Germany, when you look at the likes of Christian Eklund, nobody gets the numbers that Carlos Famola does. So Kinsel has the belt, but I don't know if he's in the driving seat. However, that fight with Vey, if that is the revenge fight for Carlos Famola, it has to happen in a stadium, and you know it could break every record we've ever done.
And Pavel Langer, tonight was his fairy tale. This crowd was here for him. The atmosphere were electric, and for it to end in 7 seconds, where does he go from here?
Oh, it's so sad because you look at what he did. He is a man of the people. He was named the people's champ. Beat Rafael Javier, the top German light heavyweight, and no one expected him to do that. Beat Alexander Popek in Germany in Oberhausen, no one expected it to do it. Everybody kind of expected him to deliver today, and it was, you know, he said it himself, that's the worst 7 seconds of my life. But then he also said, as a man, you got to be able to, you know, take those licks, you got to be able to learn from them. But that's in the cage. Back in the dressing room, back at home, he is going to relive that fight, those 7 seconds, what could have been forever. But I'm very grateful to have called his fights where he claimed the interim title. I think the swell of love that he's received from the Slovak people, from the Oktagon fans, has been magical to witness. So I hope he remembers that as well as what happened tonight.
And even Bishinga talking about Slovak love, they absolutely adore him here, and he's proved very much that he's got a lot left to give in this sport.
That's the scariest second round I've seen in a long time because Jakub Donald, you know, everyone was talking about his wrestling pedigree. He called for this fight. He's the younger fighter, less miles on the clock. Definitely, as far as fighting styles, a difficult opponent for Buchinger. But something in that second round, something in between round 1 and round 2, Buchinger just decided, I'm just going to put it on him. They gave no space. He absolutely was giving no respect to the strikes of Donald, to the takedowns, and he gave us an exquisite moment. There were the strikes to the back of the head, which kind of paused it, but I think it was inevitable that he was going to get that finish, and that is his 41st professional win on his 49th walk to the cage, his 34th fighter that he's finished, his 25th, the 34th fighter that he's finished, and you know he still feels like he's got plenty he can give.
And now I want to move on to Manchester. I want to thank you personally because Oktagon Challenge has given the world the greatest reality TV rivalry since the days of Will Young and Gareth Gates. Hassan and Dennis have absolutely blown everybody away, and it's finally come to an end.
Oh man, I couldn't ever imagine you putting Will Gates, what's his name again?
Will Young, Gareth Gates. I'll tell you what, I knew before I said that a comedian will really appreciate that dated 2001 reference.
Yeah, I was there, I lived and breathed it, but now to see those two put up against Hassan and Dennis, the people's main event, that's great, mate. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's exciting. I can't take credit for what the show is giving because, again, I always say this, the 8 fighters that are taking part in this, that have, you know, bared their soul in this, lived with each other in the house, gone through the highs and the lows, been under the spotlight, and, you know, given everything they can for the show, whether it's the challenges, whether it's the stuff, the banter, whether it's the rivalry between England and Ireland. So it is it has been, a blessing to be a tiny part of it, and I know people don't know exactly what's going to happen yet, but from being inside and knowing how this is going to play out and what we have coming to you in Manchester November 4th, it's just going to get better.
And Jake Quickington versus Paul Smith. This is one that everybody's getting into through Stage to the Cage. And this is a programme that's not just about martial arts. It's really about the community and how these two guys have been pushed to do something that nobody ever thought possible.
Well, first of all, look what they're doing as far as committing so much to this. I mean, we are lucky to have them both, because we could have signed them both up, got them into this, and one of them could have kind of just coasted and the other one could have absolutely dedicated themselves, and it wouldn't have given us a balanced, experience as far as what training for martial arts is like. It wouldn't give us a fair fight in the end of it, but they have given everything. I am so proud of these guys. I feel blessed that we have got them, and their intent is to represent the sport. They have done that beautifully with their dedication, their training, their evolution in the sport as well. But then also on top of that, what they have shown, is, as you said, is the community. They've broken down barriers. They are famous, these two guys. People are watching the sport and messaging me going, I didn't realise how nice gyms were, what type of person did it, why people do this sport. So I'm torn for the fight, because I love both these guys. I know them. I've got to know them very, very well. All I can say is they are as prepared as they are going to be, and we are in for an absolute treat on November 4th.
And thanks to Carlos Vermola, there's magic in the air tonight. So I'm going to give you a magic one. Stage to the Cage. I've enjoyed it so much. Yeah. If I was to put you in this position again, to a Stage to the Cage 2, any reality TV star, any comedian, who would you put together in a fantasy match?
Right, well, listen, you'd be surprised, but my brain has already been working on this, because I've loved being on this project. I'm not going to tell you any names. I'm not going to tell you what world they come from. What I will tell you is that I want to do it with two, and we saw two amazing female fights in here tonight at Oktagon 47. I want to show how ladies represent this sport. I want to take two fantastic females from the world of celebrity, and I want to, go on that journey with them to show again the public what this sport is about, how it can, especially as a father of a daughter, help grow confidence, help instill some, self-defense, safety, and also the community that surrounds it there. So I'm not giving you the names, but what I will tell you is watch this space. We have got Project Y, as we're going to call it, coming next year.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to seeing whoever Akon Wanless comes out with, whether it's Boba Fett, C-3PO. I even wore a Star Wars jumper for him the last time I spoke to him. So, what are we expecting from him come Manchester?
Oh man, listen, he's a star. He's an absolute star. Everything about him oozes, that quality, that star quality. On top of that, the guy can fight. He's in that Renegade gym. He's surrounded by world champions. He's surrounded by the best. Leon Edwards. You look at the other fighters there that, just are so phenomenal. But he's coming up against Jakub Banik, nicknamed the British Slayer. He's already beaten Ashley Grimshaw. He's taken out Jay Cuccinello as well. Two British guys, finished them in the first round. But I think this is the era of, UK MMA, and I think that Oktagon are coming at the right time, because we've got not just Akon, we've got Shamrock, we've got Jack Cartwright, Shia Yusuf, so many amazing, talented fighters that need the spotlight, need a platform like this, and we are going to give it to them. We're going to come back to the UK next year with 4 shows. We're going to grow the sport again. We're going to look at new stars and building and telling those stories like we did with Shamrock, and I think fans deserve an experience like this as well. You don't get this experience at a UK show. You don't get the stadium experience. You don't get the energy, the atmosphere, the different demographic of the crowd as well. The good mix of, families, mums, dads, boyfriends, husbands, men, women, all coming together to celebrate their fighters, their heroes. And that's the aim, that's the plan, and that's what we're going to do next year.
And 2 guys to conclude on. You couldn't have written this story any better. Shamrock, a man who was wanted for a crime he hadn't committed, flew to Malaysia, ended up completely transforming his life, went to Dublin, Belfast, back and forth, just about avoiding arrest, eventually gets caught, goes to prison for a crime he didn't commit, and now he's taken on a police officer. Ridiculous. And Aaron Abbey, the ultimate story of heart, determination, courage, battling off cancer. Utterly unbelievable.
Oh mate, both stories are crazy, both so different. The fight with Picorni and Shamrock it's already electric. They've been back and forth on social media. Lines have definitely been crossed. For me, it's definitely going to be a battle which they can control the emotions. Whoever can control that hatred, we'll call it, could come out on top. And then you got Aaron Abbey. I've known him for a long time. I was there not with him day to day as far as when he was going through cancer, but regularly working with him or seeing him. And there was a point where we were pretty much told, this guy wasn't going to make it. This it's time to get ready for not having a world with Aaron Abbey in it. And my God, he beats the odds every time. Since he was a kid with battling cystic fibrosis, his family were told, don't exercise, it will make it worse. But they are from a world of sport, so they dedicated him to rugby, to martial arts. He turned his life around. Then the cancer story, being told he wouldn't be able to fight even when he beat cancer, and then a year later making that walk to the cage. And now just, a couple of years from that, fighting for a world title in Manchester, not too far from Wrexham. Everything he has given for himself, his family, this sport is all going to culminate on that fight, and it's a tough opponent. Elias Garcia is legit. He has fought in the Combate Global, he's fought in the UFC. It's as tough a fight as Aaron Abbey will ever have, but I mean, we've seen him overcome tremendous odds in his personal life. So I got a lot of love for that guy, and I'm excited to see him make that walk and to see if he can make that dream come true.
Absolutely. I think all fans in the UK circuit hope he gets it done. Bryan, thank you so much for talking to me on what has been a spectacular evening. It's deeply appreciated. Before I let you go, have you got any closing words?
Thanks for coming. Thanks for being part of it. Thanks for watching these shows. We're excited for what we're bringing to the UK. It's a different market to anyone else we've ever been in, but I think like when you've come and when other people have come for the first time and they see what it is, I can't wait for people to experience that in the UK. So yeah, appreciate it.